Hello and welcome to the Dublin Mountains on a cold winter's day, and we're joined by the DS7. Now this is an interesting one because it rivals cars like the Audi Q5, the Mercedes GLC. However, it's built by the same company that build Peugeot and Citroëns and all those French cars. However, I actually think it stands a little bit of a chance. It's gorgeous. I mean, the attention to detail. If we just unlock it, check out these lights. I mean, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and it continues. All the different body lines throughout this little channel here on the bonnet, along the side, diamond cut alloy wheels at the rear. It's interesting. It's got some sort of, I'm going to call it heat protector around the exhaust. I'm not sure exactly what that's for, but it is just so different, and I think that's a very important thing. And a lot of us, we tend to be a little bit brand snobs, and we like our Audis, our BMWs and our Mercedes, and maybe even Lexus, the NX. But that said, if you want to step away from it, be a little bit understated, then this could be something that you might consider. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about the powertrains, what it's like to drive, the fact that you can get a plug-in hybrid and what the range on that's like, and loads more. So make sure to subscribe, and of course give the video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. But here are lots of things you need to know about the DS7. Engine's always a great starting point, and actually I think when I went to the first drive of this, there was a 1.2 litre petrol engine. It appears to be gone, so the entry-level engine, which costs about mid 40,000 euros, that is a 1.5 litre diesel engine. I've never driven it, but I can imagine it's quite good. It's the same engine we see on the rest of the platform. Then we have this, the E-Tense. I think it costs about 7,000 euros to upgrade to this. Probably worth it in my opinion. I'm a big PHEV fan, I quite like them. And so yeah, the E-Tense is a plug-in hybrid. So that is a 1.6 litre petrol engine, and it's paired with a 13.2 kilowatt hour battery, which has an electric motor. Combined, this one has 225 brake horsepower. You can actually get a four-wheel drive 300 brake horsepower version. Completely unnecessary in my opinion. Now, how far can you go on that 13.2 kilowatt hour battery? That is crucial. So I think claimed it's 55 kilometers. This morning I had a full charge and it was estimated I get about 43 kilometers, which is perfect. It's enough to drop the kids to school, to do a short commute to and from work. Now, the crucial thing about it is, and we'll talk about this more when we drive, you can actually save that range for later. So you can opt to only use the petrol engine now, and then later you can just use the electric motor. We'll talk about that later. Another thing is, I think you can go up to 135 kilometers per hour in the EV mode alone. So more than you'll ever need in the real world on real roads. But that is the engines covered. All right, so quickly before we go, check out the inside. Boot space, electronic tailgate. Now I do want to draw your attention. It doesn't go that high. Sucks to be tall. Anyway, in here, 555 litres, very cleverly laid out. So here there's literally no load lip, and as you can see, that makes getting the likes of a big drone case in nice and easy. There's also a little bit of storage under there. And then you've got a 12-volt socket. Your charge cables sit nice and smoothly. Realistically, probably won't use them, you'll just use a home charger. And then you can actually fold the rear seats from here too. Although you have to pull that lever a little bit further than feels comfortable. So in the rear, this is where things begin to go really luxury. To begin with, check out that kind of suede Alcantara finish on the doors. As we sit in, it's very nice and comfortable. ISOFIX points, very easily accessible. This folds down, you've got two drink holders. You've got a bit of storage here, two USB charging points, and then this is where life gets really premium. Electrically heated seats. Oh my God, they're not electrically heated seats. No way, look at this. It reclines electrically in the back. I don't think I've ever driven a car or tested a car with that. Bravo DS. Now, in here, this is where the party happens. So if you were to block out the badge and maybe also block out this top of the trim here, it is independently better than any of the German rivals in my opinion. The fit and finish. The seat is just gloriously comfortable. You can change and customize your seating position any way you want. even has leg extensions, which will be good for the people who couldn't fit under the tailgate. Everything else in here, this one's finished with some Alcantara kind of suede finish because it's the performance line. And then in terms of storage, plenty of storage in there. Also a little bit of a glove box there. And it's just a really nice place to be. Now in terms of the screens and the infotainment system, so up here you've got a 12-inch screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Only drawback is right now you do need a cable to connect up to it, which is a shame. But other than that, it works brilliantly, and actually the system itself is great. And what I love is, whilst it's a great touchscreen, you can have these little kind of shortcuts to get to where you want to. So quickly, if you want to adjust the climate control, you just press that button. If you want to change the song, you just press that button. It's very quick and easy to use, which is brilliant. And then over here, you've got a 12.3-inch display up here, and it's, again, really easy to see. Peugeot, which is a sister company, obviously not as premium, but it has what I quite like as a steering wheel. But the only thing that has to be said is it's sometimes hard to see the screen, and it also always blocks the cruise control, whereas here you can actually see your cruise control as you drive along. And just as a whole in here, it's absolutely lovely to sit in, very comfortable, and just feels like a great place to spend a good bit of time. What's more is, to finish off, the clock up here. Just a really, really nice touch. To drive, it's no surprise at this point that it is good. The view out the front is really, really big. In fact, visibility as a whole is great. You've got these massive wing mirrors here, which are just great for being able to see curves when you're parking, but also just seeing what's behind you. The seat is really comfortable, and the driving position, again, really, really comfortable. And you do feel like you're in a little bit of a cockpit with the big center console here. The screens, as we said earlier, really big, really easy to see. And this 12.3-inch digital driver's display in front of me is brilliant. There is lane assist, which can be turned off here. That's up to you. Personally, I'm not a huge fan, but I know some people who have had lane assist for the last year or two and can't imagine driving without it. But again, I love that it's just so quick and easy to turn off over there. Now, big thing with this being the plug-in hybrid is driving between the electric motor and the petrol motor. What's that like? Well, to be fair, it's pretty seamless. You don't really notice. Like right now, I think I'm using the petrol motor, but I'm not even positive. I could be using the electric. It's really hard to tell, which is great. Now at lower speeds you will notice it, but that said, you can select in the different driving modes over here everything from fully electric, comfort, which is where I've just left it the whole time, hybrid, and then sport. Now sport basically uses the two engines to give you the full 225 brake horsepower, and it's pretty nippy actually, to be fair to it. Obviously, it is an SUV, so it's not going to be taking those corners at any great speeds, but it is very good to have those different options. One thing I do want to draw a bit of attention to is this little electric symbol over here. Click that and you've all your statistics, charging, everything like that, but it's the eSave tab that I want to draw a bit of attention to. So here you can see that you can save some electric range for later. Today is the perfect example. I'm up here filming this review in the Dublin mountains. However, later on I have to go into the city centre. So I feel like it makes sense to save a little bit of range. I'm going to opt for 20 kilometers so that when I'm driving around town, I can be in pure electric mode, seamless, quiet, and it's just really, really smooth. I love being able to do that. A lot of plug-in hybrids can, but it's definitely something that you probably will avail of, particularly if you've got maybe a short motorway commute and then into kind of bumper to bumper traffic. One last thing is to do with regenerative braking. This is where the car uses the energy of slowing down to create more range. So when you put it into gear, you've drive mode, but then you also have B mode, which I assume stands for braking mode. And when you take your foot off the accelerator, it's not full EV one pedal driving, but you do feel it actually slowing down for you. This becomes really useful actually as you're driving day to day. You tend to not use your brakes as much, but obviously it also creates energy and saves the world, one slowing down slow process at a time.